I think a lot of professionals are forgetting the importance of in-person interactions. And,
Mm,
David Corbin and I, we talk about it all the time as far as seminars go. And it's not the same thing when you're hosting a seminar in person as virtual. And virtual, you don't get that same touching. You're looking and you see a bunch of blank screens. You don't know if they're even on, or and if they are, they may have it muted. When you're in person and you can touch, you can see, you can feel, it's so much better. And same thing as far as going out to lunches, dinners, brunches, conferences, whatever it is, human interaction. I'm telling you, if you're any kind of professional, you want to find lead generation, the best way to do that is do it in person, in my opinion.
absolutely. You know me, I'm all about the sales psychology and also communication and nonverbal communication. And like this, as great as it is to see each other, we're still missing a big piece of nonverbal communication with things like even spacing from each other, the ability to reach out and almost touch you, or maybe touch your shoulder lightly. Like these things, see, it's not the same. It's not the same. But these things are huge for building rapport, for building connections. So when I first started in real estate, it's ironic, and this is still taught. You pick 5 properties, you curate them for your client, you take your buyers, you sit down afterwards, and you make them buy one. What? In the biggest transaction of your life, you're going to treat it like it's a chop shop here? That doesn't make sense to me. In fact, I love showing houses. I lean into it. People will say, oh, wow, you're not making great use of your time. BS. I disagree. I've taken people to see as many, I think the most I lost count was 60 homes, 69 homes with one set of buyers. Do you know how tight we are now?
Better be.
That's how the relationship is formed, is that time together, that rapport building, the commonality of a goal and being in it together. That's why I talk about being part of your real estate journey. I'm like a Sherpa to help you climb that mountain and achieve the peak of what you're looking for in real estate. And that's how we bond together, by making that climb. I
You're
love
making,
it.
and anybody listens to this, think about it for a second, how you deal with clients, customers, employees, and do you rush people out the door? Is there a time limit? I was brought up the same way. I remember being in a law firm, and you remember who you are, is when you have a client appointment, you are to get them in and out within 20 minutes. There's strict limit. We don't want to see you in any longer. Otherwise, it's not productive time. I got yelled at for spending an hour and a half with a client, and I said to them, you realize that this person is blind, that they have their special, it's like a plastic, almost like it's like a size of a piece of paper, but there's a space in the middle where you have to space it for them where they can hold their pen and sign. It has to be so there's that they have a system together with it. And they said it still should not have taken an hour and a half. I said, I'm not rushing a blind person. They already are uncomfortable as it is. They can't see the paperwork. I have to explain it. They have a family member there. We're going to take as long as we need to make sure the person is comfortable. That's outrageous. I was really upset about that. And with it, and I've had, you can have somebody new to the country, and language is an issue, education is an issue, learning disability of some sort. You never know what a person's particular situation is. Accommodation is very, very important. And somebody who feels like they're being rushed as a number out the door like a conveyor belt, I can't see that they'd want to come back and work with a professional like that. So kudos to you, George, as far as working with your clients that way. And I advocate that for everybody. This is again about relationships. You're wasting time. Really, when they become your lifelong client, they bring you all their transactions, all their friends, all their family. How do you, that's the best marketing. They are your marketing agent now. And what, you put in an extra half an hour, 2 hours? I think that's time really well spent.
I agree with you, and it extends even beyond real estate. So, I've owned multiple businesses and still do, and I've had numerous employees. And my philosophy was always, even when I was doing business consulting, was the right people in the right seats doing the right things. So when you tell me this story about your experience at one of the past law firms, this person was not a good leader. Okay, I don't even know who you're talking about, but I can tell you they're not a good leader. Because if you believe you put the right person in the right seat and that's the right person doing the right things, trust that they know how to handle their business. You should have an open door that they come to you if they feel like they could have managed it better. But the reality is, people respect professionals' times for the most part. Even when you go see your doctor, when I see my doctor, they take more time with me, but I'm respectful of their time. We only take as much as we need. When I show 60 homes, there's a reason for showing 60 homes. We're not wasting our time. We're putting in what's required to achieve the outcome. And if you have people working with you or in a group, that's the way you should treat them. You guys are doing the right things in the right seats, doing the right things, the right people. Trust them to form the connections and do what's right for the client.
One thing that David Core mentions all the time, and I'm going to sum up today's episode with this thought and how we're going to avoid this because I think it's kind of an epidemic. He's right. Is when we were all growing up back in our day, there was no cell phones. There was no texting. There was phone calls on a telephone, and there was meeting in person. That was it. And it feels now that a lot of professionals they prefer doing the emails, they prefer the text messages. They're very against any kind of phone calls and definitely against in-person interactions. And I think as a professional, it's really stunting their growth that they don't have that human interaction. When you're brought into a boardroom and it's a big corporate closing, for example, and you're a VP and you don't know really how to shake somebody's hand and you don't know how to speak with them and interact and mingle with them, people notice that body language. And this is the kind of thing they don't teach you in school. It's the school of life.